Did you know that you could actually be afraid of success? You may not be afraid of the feeling of being successful, but you're afraid of something that comes along with that success. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the 3 steps that you can take to overcome the fear of success. The fear of success definitely seems like a strange concept because who would really be afraid to succeed? But like I said, it's not necessarily the actual success that you're afraid of, but it is the perceived consequences or what's going to happen or what comes along with that success. For example, let's say that you're a very anxious person. Maybe you have some social anxiety. Well, being successful means that you're probably going to have to talk to a reporter maybe. Or if you win an award, this means you have to go up on stage and give an acceptance speech. While deep down, you really want that success. You know, as an athlete, you desire being successful. But there is also this anxiety, this uncomfortableness that you're trying to avoid, but you can't really avoid that if you are successful. So then you actually become fearful of the success because of what the success means. So what does this look like? What's it look like when you actually have the fear of success? Well, it really is all going to be around you not wanting to succeed. So you kind of doing some behaviors to try to avoid that success. Number 1 is going to be you tend to blend in. Now, whenever I talk about this, I think back to when I was in high school and I was going to tryouts. I would really want to get on teams. I really wanted to get recruited by college scouts. But when I was at these tryouts, I felt so insecure and I was so afraid of success that I would tend to blend in. I would kind of hide in the shadows. If somebody, if they asked the question, I wouldn't raise my hand and answer that question. I was very, very much not the one that was in the front of the line ready to go run a sprint first or ready to take batting practice first. I was blending in. For you, let's say maybe you're in class and the teacher asks a question and you know the question. So you could say something, you could answer that question, but you don't. You hide back, you allow other people to do it, and you just blend in to the crowd of people. That's what happens when you have the fear of success. So if you tend to blend in when you're in crowds or when you're in tryouts or during games, if you find yourself, trying not to stand out too much, that could be a sign that you're actually afraid of the success because you're holding on to the reins and not allowing yourself to just freely perform because of the success that you're actually afraid of. Another symptom that really indicates that you have the fear of success is self-sabotage. This one is there because you need to sabotage yourself if you are afraid to succeed. Self-sabotage means that you're getting in your own way. You're the one that is keeping you from succeeding. Now, when you have the fear of success, this makes sense because you are afraid to succeed. Therefore, what can you do besides quitting your sport, besides quitting what you do, that is going to keep you from succeeding? It's one of the ways that you can kind of avoid the success that you're afraid of without coming to terms with the fact that you're actually afraid of the success. Self-sabotage happens on a very unconscious level. So, you might be thinking, I want success, I want to win. Of course you're thinking that. But then your behavior is not backing that up. You continually perform poorly in games. You continually don't push as hard as you can in practice. And these are ways that you're sabotaging yourself. But you're sabotaging yourself not because you don't want to succeed, but you're afraid of what's going to happen if you do succeed. That's a key thing to think about and to keep in mind with the fear of success. There's nothing wrong with you, and you're not really wanting to not succeed. It's not some sick, twisted thing like that. You're just afraid of what might happen if you succeed. So there is a difference there. We should really call it the fear of what happens if you do succeed. But the fear of success just rolls off the tongue a little easier. Now, a third symptom is going to be you make a lot of excuses. You make a lot of excuses as to why you don't want to do things. Another example I can think of is me not wanting to speak in front of people. So I would make excuses why I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that, when it was actually something that would have been successful for me and something that I would have enjoyed, but I didn't do it because I was afraid of what's going to happen if I succeed. Well, what happens if I succeed? I have to speak in front of people. and someone who has very historically had social anxiety and a fear of public speaking, that's terrifying. So what I did was I made excuses. I made excuses as to why this opportunity wasn't really that good, why I didn't need to do it. So if you find yourself making these similar types of excuses, that could be a sign that you're actually just afraid of success. And we're very good at rationalizing things, and we're very good at tricking our minds into thinking that, yeah, this opportunity really isn't what I need. It's not actually a very good thing for me to do. When in reality it is, and we're just covering up the fact that we're afraid. And that really carries us into the first step that you can take to overcome the fear of success. The first step is going to be acceptance. You have to acknowledge that you have the fear of success, and then you have to accept it. And from there, you can start to make strides forward. As long as you continue to make excuses, as long as you continue to say that you're not afraid of success, you're never going to improve. So while it might be difficult right now to come face to face with the fact that you're struggling with the fear of success, it can definitely feel embarrassing. You might feel shameful thinking, why would I be afraid to succeed? So many people want me to succeed. I put in so much work. Of course I want to succeed. But if you really want to succeed, you have to come face to face with the fact that right now there's something getting in your way, and it is your own fear of success. A really good way to kind of work through your thoughts and work through these emotions is to journal. I recommend just writing down in a journal, why you are afraid of success. I encourage you to just write down in a journal. Just let your thoughts flow onto the paper and write about what you're afraid of. Why do you fear success? What is causing you to fear the success? Because that's going to help you come to terms with the fact that you are afraid of success. And from there, you can accept this, and then you can start to move on. And now step number 2 is where you're going to identify the underlying issue. What is really driving this fear of success? Remember, I said that the fear of success is a fear of the perceived consequences, these perceived outcomes. So there is something, you're not just afraid of success. There is something deeper which you are afraid of. And that's what you have to identify in step number 2. To do this, you want to begin tracking your avoidance patterns. So just like the last step, keep a journal, and you want to keep track of what do you do when you feel the fear of success. What are your avoidance patterns? Whenever you find yourself avoiding a certain situation, specifically one that, when you're thinking rationally, could push you closer to your goals, then you need to think, okay, what am I actually afraid of? Why am I trying to avoid the situation when I know that if I do this, it's actually putting me closer to the success that I want? Once you do that and you identify your underlying cause of your fear of success, then you can start working to overcome that cause. There are 4 kind of main underlying causes to the fear of success. So I'm just going to quickly brush over those so you can identify them and then give you some tools that you can use to work to overcome those causes. The first one is going to be introverted nature. So if you're like me and you're more of an introvert, then success, it's what I said at the beginning of the video. Success can often come with more recognition, more opportunities and requirements for you to speak in front of people. Maybe more success means that you're going to have to be more of a leader on your team, so you have to give speeches to your teammates, and that really makes you scared and makes you very afraid. When you're an introvert, this can really make success scary. Not because you don't want to be successful, but because of what all comes along with this success. Now, it may seem pretty simple, but the best tip that I can give you when you're struggling with fear of success as an introvert is to decide how you want to be. If you want to be more confident when you're speaking in front of people, because right now you're afraid of that, then just say that that's what you want to be and start to work on shifting your mindset. Because what that's going to do is it's going to shift your internal image of yourself. So you're going to begin to see yourself more as someone who is confident in these situations rather than someone who is timid and afraid in these situations. After you do that, you must take it a step further and face the fear. Whether this means once a week, a couple times a week, you have to start putting yourself in situations where you are facing that which you are afraid of. The more you do this, the more comfortable you're going to become in that environment. So then the less you're going to be fearful of success. Now, another cause of the fear of success is the fear of failure. These two fears really go hand in hand. They play into one another. So if you're afraid of failure, and then you're also afraid of success, you need to really work to overcome that fear of failure. Now, I have a video that really goes into depth on how to overcome the fear of failure. So you can click on that right here if you want and go ahead and go check that out and watch that full video if you'd like. But just know that when you're wanting to overcome the fear of failure, you first, just like with the fear of success, have to accept it. But then from there, you begin to implement mental training tools, such as visualization. You want to visualize yourself being successful because that's going to boost your confidence, which is going to decrease your fear. You want to use self-talk so that you begin retraining your mind to speak to yourself more positively, more confidently. And then you can also use your internal dialogue to calm yourself in the moment. And that is going to then reduce your fear, just like visualization. And along with those two, you can also use mindfulness, because mindfulness is a very powerful tool to center your attention in this present moment. And both the fear of success and the fear of failure, they are a result of outcome-oriented thinking. So if you can center your attention more in the present moment, you're not going to be so focused about the outcome, so then you're not going to be so fearful. Now, the third cause of the fear of success is going to be perfectionism. As a perfectionist, even when you succeed, you're always focused on what more could I have done? What else could I have achieved? And that really begins to wear on you. So you start to fear success because you know the only thing that comes with success is negative self-talk and you beating yourself up because of what else you could have done. There are two tools that we can really use to overcome perfectionism. One is going to be beginning to focus more on the positives. After a performance, after practice, just on a daily basis, begin focusing more on what did you do right, rather than focusing so much on what you did wrong. And now the second way is going to be to implement positive self-talk. Perfectionism feeds on negative self-talk. It is there because you are talking down to yourself, repeating in your mind about what else you could have done, how you weren't good enough. So you have to learn to take control of your thoughts, which is done by a self-talk routine. So the more you take control of your internal dialogue, the less you're going to feel like a perfectionist. And now if you can control those perfectionist tendencies, that's going to carry over and reduce your fear of success. The last underlying cause is guilt. Now, if you start to feel guilty because you succeed, this is going to lead to you being afraid of success. Now, why would you feel guilty in the first place? You can feel guilty because you think that your teammates deserve some more recognition. So maybe at the end of a game, your coach is only talking about how well you performed. And that makes you uncomfortable because you feel guilty that your teammates aren't receiving such recognition. Or maybe you feel guilty because your parents never succeeded that much. So you wanting to succeed or you succeeding feels like you're overshadowing them or overshadowing your friends. Guilt is very overlooked when it comes to the fear of success, but it often drives our fear of success because it can be very uncomfortable to perform better than those that we are close with. It can be very uncomfortable to continually outperform your friends because you feel like they're judging you or seeing you as someone who thinks they're better than them. So that is a very, very common cause of the fear of success. Now, what can you do if you're struggling with this guilt? The best thing you can do is just center your attention in the moment, feel proud of the work that you put in, and honestly just focus more on yourself. I know it's not a very common thing to talk about being more selfish, but sometimes you have to be, especially when your success is causing you guilt because you're worried about other people. As long as you're not going out of your way and taunting other people for your success, if you're doing it in a dignified way, you should never feel guilty for the hard work that you put in. So just center your attention in the present moment, enjoy that success, and be proud of yourself for your hard work. And if you do that, that's going to help you feel less guilty, which is then going to result in you not fearing success so much. So the fear of success is definitely going to get in your way of achieving peak performance. So you need to first accept that fear, accept that you're struggling with the fear of success, and then identify why. What is that underlying cause? And once you do, you start to work on overcoming that underlying cause. And when we get to the roots, when we get to that deep underlying cause and we start to work at that, then the surface level problem of fear of success begins to go away. So I encourage you right now, if you're struggling with the fear of success, number one, you need to accept it. And then from there, get to work on your underlying cause. And if you do, that is really going to reduce your fear of success. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We put out a new video each week on sports psychology that is going to help you improve your mindset to ultimately improve your performances. If you have any questions about the fear of success or any other sports psychology topic, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.